How's it going, Ed?
How are you, Dave? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're here to talk about the Jets. The season is really getting close. Thursday night's going to be the first NFL football game, but more importantly, the full season starts Sunday and Monday Night Football uh, against the Bills. I'll be going to that game, and I'm hoping to take some video and post it here on my YouTube channel. Eddie, you're a Jet fan for a long time, and so am I. And this is going to be a very interesting, unique year like never before. What are your thoughts about this whole Aaron Rodgers situation?
Well, I'm excited as you are. Being a Jet fan, it's been painful at times. I mean, we've had a few moments here and there of glory, a couple of AFC Championship games in my tenure as a Jet fan. But there's been a lot more disappointment a lot of times than it has been things to look forward to. But this is, as you said, this is a great season. This looks like this could be a something special, and I'm hoping that happens. What makes me a little nervous, though, is I remember the last time we had a Green Bay quarterback with the Jets, I got a little nervous. With Brett Favre, we started off strong, and then we ended up 9-7 that year, I believe, in 2008. I don't think that's going to happen here, but as a Jet fan, as I'm sure you know, you're always a little nervous about being a Jet fan when there's something new happening.
Well, I'll give you one better. Maybe you'll agree with me. As a Jet fan, I think one of the most disturbing moments was with Vinny Testaverde. Because we lost the AFC Championship game to the Broncos, and the following year we were pretty much just like now. We thought we were going to the Super Bowl, and that first game of the season, Testaverde gets hurt, and that was the end of that one. So, I mean, that was probably worse than the Favre thing. What do you think?
Yes, I was at that game. In fact, it was.
Oh, you were?
We won. Yes, I was at that game. We ended up winning that game, but it was a tough year as well, especially as you mentioned, the year before going to the AFC Championship game. We had big expectations, and then what the Jets do a lot of times is they rip your heart out sometimes. But I was hoping that's not going to happen this year, Dave.
Yeah, well, I'm enjoying the moments now, even though the season hasn't officially kicked off yet. I'm just enjoying all this hoopla that's going on.
Agreed. I even love seeing Aaron Rodgers, out and about town. It's great to see the buzz around the Jets. I mean, it's not just Jet fans. When you put on the news, you'll see him at the U.S. Open, at certain concerts, at the Taylor Swift concert, I believe. It's a nice buzz to have around the Jets that's bigger than the Jets, that people are saying, wow, this team could be good. It's a nice welcome, and I'm hoping that everything goes the way the plan intends it to.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree. We'll see what happens. On paper they look good. We'll take it a game at a time. I believe that they definitely will go to the playoffs. I believe the one thing that this entire season is going to hinge on is how well the defense plays. And that was the key. If we had an Aaron Rodgers back when we had Rex Ryan coaching for us, we probably would have went to a few Super Bowls. So if we have a defense like that, and we play these high scoring teams like the Chiefs and the Bills, and if we hold them to like 20 points or less, win or lose in the future, I think we'll be able to start talking about a championship. Because I think the second half of the Jets season is compared to the first half is really, you can almost win every single game. I think the second half of the season.
It's a tough first half of the season. It's a tough first 4 games. I mean, they got a real tough schedule, the Jets. I mean, Bills, yeah. Cowboys, the Patriots, and the Chiefs. That's a tough. Then you have a little break with the Broncos, and then after that it's the Eagles. That's a tough 6 games, or a tough 5 out of 6 games to start the season.
Yeah, I got it here right before the bye week. You got the Bills, the Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs, Broncos, and Eagles. So we're going to know right away what happens with that record. We're going to have an idea of where we're going. And then the remaining games, Giants, Chargers, Raiders, Bills, Dolphins, Falcons, Texans, Dolphins, Commanders, Browns, Patriots. If the Jets are as good as they're supposed to be, we can win every single one of those games. Okay. And if it's a learning experience before the bye week, they should have it right after that, and we should be on our way. But obviously things can happen, injuries and whatever else, that's another story,
Did you hear, speaking of the defense, though, did you hear what DJ Reed said yesterday during an interview day? That made me a little nervous, hearing him talk like that.
Yeah, what was he saying? He was hyping things up a little bit, right?
Yes, he was saying that this defense on this team could be as good as the '85 Chicago Bears and the Legion of Boom out in Seattle from those big years out there. I don't disagree with him, and I love the confidence. I just, as a Jet fan, I always get nervous about when someone starts talking. Is it going to be locker room fodder? Is it going to be on the bulletin board in the other team's locker room saying the Jets think their defense is going to be world class? And we really got to push it to them. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to find out, especially with these first, 4 to 6 games. We're going to find out right away. That's what's good about football. It's probably my favorite sport, basically, because it's, every game's important. But I
Great.
tell you, I did notice, I was just telling somebody else, this is a little silly, if you will, but the Jet defense against the Giant second string offense in the last exhibition game, that was absolutely dominating. Now, of course, you say, well, it should be, but I have never seen that before. I have never seen the first string offense for the Jets or the first string defense for the Jets dominating any preseason game, a couple of possessions. I don't know if you watched the game or not.
I was away. I read about it. Did not get to see it.
Yeah, if you get to see that, it's pretty incredible. I think, let's just say the Giants' first 4 possessions with the Jets starting defense out there, it was like the '85 Bears. It was.
No, I think they're deep. They're solid. I think they're front eight. They're secondary. I think it's a solid defense. I just when you start talking and chirping, I just get nervous that you're going to kind of bring out the best in other people that you might normally not bring out. So I just get a little nervous when you
Right.
But if they could talk the talk, hopefully they could walk the walk. We'll see.
And then going forward, years from now, if we can jump ahead that far, I mean, I think Aaron Rodgers is making the entire Jet uh, organization better, not just Zach Wilson, but I think the entire coaching staff and like I said, the Hard Knocks series has been really incredible. Tonight's actually going to be the last episode. I don't know if you've been watching it.
Yeah, I saw it. The title. Yes, I saw last episode. I kind of heard today some other commentators were saying that they thought Hard Knocks was more like a Aaron Rodgers special with a little Jet propaganda thrown in there. And I thought that was accurate, but it was great. I mean, I enjoyed watching it. It's as we said earlier, it's nice seeing the hype around this team. There's excitement around the Jets that we haven't seen in a very long time. Probably, as you pointed out, to that season when Vinny Testaverde ruptured, I think, his Achilles tendon on the opening day against the Patriots.
Yeah, and like I said, we have to be ready for all the negativity, and if they lose games and stuff, we have to be ready for all of that. But I think we've heard everything throughout the years being Jet fans, and nothing really bothers us too much, So we've been
agreed. You've heard it all. You've seen it all from going back to 81. I don't know if you remember, Dave, the wild card game in 81 against the Buffalo Bills, where the Jets fumble the opening kickoff and Buffalo runs it back. So when the crowd is still screaming, they're losing 7-0 off the bat. From that to the butt fumble, I mean, we've seen it all. The Jet fans, we've seen a lot.
Well, as a football fan, one of my biggest pet peeves, and as a football and a Jets fan, is watching low-scoring, boring games from the Jets. So it's always been my thing. I've always wanted to see if they were going to lose, let them lose like 27-30. But the last couple of years, it's 3 plays and punt. You're lucky if you can score a touchdown. The whole Mike White thing, that used to annoy the hell out of me because they'll act like Mike White was so great. And I used to have arguments with my friends about that. I looked up some kind of a stat I got these pictures on my phone here with Mike White. Basically, he had that great Chicago game, right? Where he lit the world on fire and everybody was like, oh, Mike White, look what he did. He broke the passing record, whatever he did. And then basically after that, I think they lost probably, I want to say, at least the next 3 games, if not 4, with Mike White, and he threw like 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And I'm like, where's this great Mike White that everybody's talking about? So,
it's always that story though. Whether remember like almost similar with Jonathan Lynn with the Knicks a few years ago, when someone comes in who has one great game, sometimes the expectations rise and people are upset at Zach Wilson. So I agree that Mike White was clearly not the answer. So it was it's not the answer. But you mentioned, Dave, looking ahead a few years. Where do you see Zach Wilson having a place in this team a few years down? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has perhaps 2 years in him?
Yeah. Well, my thoughts are, I was watching preseason just for that, just to see what Zach Wilson could do. And I didn't see anything spectacular. I saw, which I didn't want to see, I saw at least 2 or 3 passes that were the old Zach Wilson that were like boneheaded passes. He has his moments, but I'm hoping that I know he has a great arm and great zip on the ball. So if Aaron Rodgers can set him straight, I think he could be really good. But I am definitely disappointed. I thought that he was going to be the man, and I don't know what happened to him.
Well, I thought Sam Darnold was going to be the man as well. I thought Mark Sanchez was going to be the man. Well, he was
Yeah,
almost the man, Mark Sanchez, for a hot minute there. But
yeah.
yeah, I thought I'm just curious to see how he fits in 2 years down the road. Zach Wilson, knowing that Aaron Rodgers, is at the end of his career and has at best two, perhaps three, but I would say realistically 2 years, right? And him left Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's 2 years he's saying, but I mean, like everything has to fall into place. Like they have to, if they end the season in the playoffs and lose a close game, I think he'll be back. I'm sure he's a little bit temperamental. We'll have to see exactly how it plays out and how pissed off he gets with the media and if they start losing games. And if he's not, like you said, if he's not having fun anymore, he says he ain't going to play. So we'll see. And then I guess next year is Zach Wilson's. Is that like the contract year before they have to make a decision to keep him or not? Right? So is it like the fourth year? I forget how that works.
I'm not certain. I believe that might be the case, but we'll have to, we'll see what they do with him. I'm very curious myself.
Yeah, I mean, you always hear he's having a good practice and everything, but I want to see it on the football field. So
exactly, that's practice is practice, but you got to perform in front of a crowd, in front of on national TV on a Sunday. What do you think, David, the Delvin Cook move, the signing?
I think it's like I think it's an insurance policy, number one, and first and foremost. You want to see Breece Hall get back in and do his thing, but yeah, I think it's good. I mean, I know you hear these things about running backs need to carry the ball a lot to get going and everything, and I guess they're going to rotate them in and out, and that could be an issue. But no matter how you slice it, I mean, this team has weapons everywhere. There's really, we've always had so many excuses. I mean, now you can say the offensive line possibly, but I think we have a lot of good players on the offensive line as well. But I think there's not too many excuses left. It was amazing too. Like you really should try to go back and catch some of the highlights of the first half of that Jet-Giant preseason game. The first play from scrimmage, Aaron Rodgers calls hike. And I don't even think you can count one Mississippi. The ball was out of his hands to Garrett Wilson. I mean, the defense didn't have a chance to come out of their stance to even attempt to get at him. So that's how good he is. Even if the offensive line is a little bit shaky, I think, with the running game and the receivers and his knowledge, I think they're going to be fine, So.
And going back to Breece Hall, he's expected to play Sunday, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how many carries he gets as well as Cook gets. So I know they're both expected to. Last I read, they both expected to play Sunday.
Yeah,
Monday.
Monday. It's going to be everybody can't wait to see what's going to happen here. I mean, it's like when the smoke clears, we'll see what happens on Tuesday morning, what we're talking about, what's going on with the whole, I'm looking forward to the whole season. I mean, I can't wait to watch football all day Sunday, so.
In fact, I'm upset that although it's nice and special that you have two New York teams playing on September 11th, it's going to be tough on Sunday waiting for Monday night. I'm going to be sitting there on Sunday waiting. It was the Monday couldn't come quick enough for me on this weekend.
I plan on I'm going to try to get to the stadium by like 5:30 or so, 5 o'clock. So I'm going to try to leave around 3:30. I figure it might take almost 2 hours to get there with the traffic. And then I'm trying to give myself at least 2 hours to tailgate. I know it could be at least a half an hour just to walk into the stadium.
Yes.
I forgot about that mob scene, getting in there into the stadium. And of course, you want to get there, before 8 o'clock, for all the excitement and fireworks.
And they have, as you know, they have some Jet alum usually in the parking lot before the games now, and a little entertainment. So it's always a fun time before the games.
Oh yeah, it's always great. It's always great. Let's go over the. Let me see if I can bring up the Jets schedule here. I have it on the phone here. Do you want to? Let me see. What do you think about these games and a final? Let's see. A prediction for the season. So week 1 against the Bills, and we're just going to go with wins and losses. Do you think that would be a win against the Bills? Or what do you think?
I'm expecting a win. I'm thinking the crowd's going to be pumped. It's a whole new, as we talked about, even you and I, and as everyone has talked about, it's a new era in Jet football, hopefully. So I could see the crowd is going to be excited. Aaron Rodgers is going to be excited. The players, Breece Hall is coming back from the injury. I think it's going to be, if I was a betting man, Dave, I would bet on the Jets to win this game outright on Monday night.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, the Bills in particular, I have to remind everybody that we beat the Bills last year with
Yes,
Zach Wilson somehow. So I don't think they're up there. Not that the Bills are a bad team, of course. I just don't think they're up there with a Cincinnati and Kansas City close. But I just think those are the two.
agreed. I
You know.
agree with you, and I think the
So then
wind
we
is
got the
closing too
Cowboys
on
after that.
Buffalo. I think their time might be passing them by. Right, their window to win is closing on them as well. So I think
That's what they're saying. That's what they're
there's a little
saying.
panic up, and not panic, but there's a little maybe a slight concern. Not even panic is too strong. I think there is a slight concern, as we just mentioned, that the window might be closing. So this is a good week, I think, for the Jets to come out and show that they're the new Jets, not the same old Jets.
Yeah, especially offensively, they should be. They got to be better. How about the Cowboys? Are we going to beat the Cowboys?
I think a lot of that is going to. I'm curious to see. The Cowboys are obviously picked to be in their division. They're picked to finish, first and second between the Eagles there, so they're a strong team. Will the Jets beat the Cowboys? I'm gonna say a lot depends on week one. I'm gonna be the optimist here. I'm gonna say the Jets. Yes, they're gonna win that game.
I think they have a much better chance to beat the Cowboys than they do the Bills. So I think that's a win for the Jets. Let's jump into week 3 here. The Patriots. We haven't beat them 3 years or something. I mean, what do you think about that game?
I think it's a different Patriot team. I mean, no more Tom Brady. I mean, I think although Mac Jones is solid, I'm not sold on Mac Jones yet as being a new savior up in New England. I think the Jets are going to win. I'm saying so far I got him 3-0, right?
Yep, 3-0. Let's go on to the Chiefs in week 4. That could be the tough one, and it's at Kansas City.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's gonna be a tough win, especially if they go 3-0 to go 4-0. I think that's gonna be tough. So I'm gonna say, how about this? Out of the first 4 games, I'm expecting the Jets to be 3-1. So I will say that they may lose to the Chiefs. I hate to say my team is gonna lose to anyone, but realistically, I would be if they're 3-1 coming out of the first 4 games of the season. I'd be very happy.
I agree. So far, we're on the same page. I don't have any disagreements with you. All right, then you got the Broncos.
Broncos are not that good this year. I'm going to say that's a win.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Now you got the Eagles. That could be their second loss.
That's tough. I could say that. Let's be realistic and say we're having 5-2 out of those. I would say that's going to be a tough game. So I would say yes, they're going to have a good shot at losing that game.
So now we have 6 games in. We had them at 4-2. I think we both agree. Maybe they're going to lose to the Eagles and the Chiefs. Of course, things can happen either way. Now we have a bye week after that. Now things kind of, compared to those games, it becomes almost like a cakewalk. We have the New York Giants, which is a rivalry always, New York against New York. What do you think about that?
I think they're going to win that game handily. I think they're better than the Giants, and I think they're going to want to show the New York media. Aaron Rodgers is going to want to show everyone that he is the king of New York. Or the king of East Rutherford, if it's not exactly New York, right? But we're still the New York Jets, New York Giants. So we'll say, yeah. I think he's going to come out that game.
I agree with that 100%. Then we move on to the Chargers. The Chargers, I believe, are a cursed team where they have Hall of Fame quarterbacks one after another, and they still can't get too far into the playoffs. But we have the Chargers, week 9. What do you think about that game?
I think I'm penciling it now. I'm penciling to the win column, that Charger game, as I am going to be the week after against the Raiders. I think we're going to the AFC West. I think we're going to win those 2 games in a row.
I agree with that. Let me just go back a second here because I just misspoke. The Jets versus the Chiefs. That's going to be that's going to be a Jet home game, right? Yeah, that's a Jet home game. The Chiefs game.
Yes,
that's a Jet home game. I still think they would probably lose to the Chiefs. And the Chiefs lost a lot of. I don't know if they lost a lot of coaching pieces or something. I heard something like that. But Patrick Mahomes is like the Michael Jordan of football.
Agreed. Also, let's see with Kelsey. Kelsey, I think, is hurt right for week 1. He's a little questionable status, right? So let's see. Maybe the injury's more serious. And see if he plays that week 2. But we're trying to be realistic here. We were both excited about the Jets season, but we put that in the loss column. But I think we both kind of agree that in the first 4 games, we're expecting 3-1. Whether it's okay.
All right. So now we have them at 6-2, I believe, right? 6-2. Now we're going to go on to the Raiders. I like that. That looks good, right? The Raiders.
I say that's a win. The Raiders.
I agree. All right. Let's go on to the Bills again. You figure you had to probably split with the Bills, right?
I would say a split, especially up there, up in Buffalo. That game, I would say that's. I would concede that that split with Buffalo is not unreasonable.
Then we got the Dolphins.
I would put that in the win column.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about the
Home game.
Dolphins that just doesn't impress me. I don't know why. I just
Agreed.
maybe they're just not fancy or high scoring or something. All right, then we have the Falcons.
Falcons are not that good this year. I'm going to say that's a win.
Then we have the Commanders.
They'll always be the Redskins to me, Dave.
Yeah, I know it's a little tough. The command that name is that whoever agreed with that name is ridiculous, but that should be a win with the Commanders, right?
They're not a good team as well. I think that's I would agree with you in that. That's a win.
And then you got the Cleveland Browns.
I would say that's, even though that's a road game, I would still say that you could put that in a win column.
And then we have the Patriots again.
Up in New England after Christmas, after New Year's, I'm going to say that they might be able to eke that game out. But so what do we have? What do we have, Dave? What do we have our?
Let's see. We have them at. Well, do we have them only at 2 losses?
No, we had them splitting with we had them losing at least 3. We had them splitting with the Patriots. We had them splitting with the Bills. We had them.
It was 3.
We had them with the Chiefs. So do we saying 13-3?
Yeah,
or 13,
13. Well, it would be 14.
Yeah, because there's 17
now, right?
games now. Who are we missing?
I think we had them at 14. I think we had a split with the Bills, a loss to the Eagles, and a loss to the Chiefs.
I think that's
14-3.
That sounds. If that happens, I'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too. I mean, like I said, the second. I just that's what they look like. I mean, barring that there's no injuries or anything else crazy happens, that's what it looks like, And let's jump into. I don't know if you have anything up on your screen there, but I have the next week's picks coming up. We can go over that real quick.
I have my notes. I have the games on. I have my games here.
Let's see what kind of order you have them in.
I'll go down. I have them on my list. Dave. What do you say? I have well, let's start with the Thursday night game, the Chiefs and the Lions.
That's they're saying a 5.5 point spread. Chiefs are favored, right?
Yes, I think the line moved a little bit because of Kelsey's uncertainty for that game.
What do you think?
I still like the Chiefs at home. I still think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. So I would say I would take the Chiefs and minus the points if I was a betting man.
All right. I'm going to go with the Lions on that one.
Okay.
Just because I think they're much improved, and I don't know why. I just feel like maybe they'll only lose by a field goal, possibly, but we'll see. The coaches has them fired up pretty good too. So, how about what's your next one on there? We'll just go by your list.
Cowboys and the Giants. And I have Cowboys. This line may have switched, but my line I had there is Cowboys were 3-point favorites over the Giants, so they were a road favorite.
Yeah, I got 3.5 point favorite, which is a better bet. And I would take the Giants in that one, either to win outright or not to lose by Giants should win that game.
It's always tough taking a road favorite. When you're a home, I always like to take the home favorite on opening day. Especially when you're getting points.
All right. What's next on your list there?
Falcons and the Panthers, a game that everyone is anxiously awaiting.
Yeah. I have the Falcons at 3.5 point favorite.
Yep.
With two kind of like no-name quarterbacks, basically. And I guess the Falcons are the home team.
Falcons are home.
Yeah. I mean, just to pick a team, I really don't know which way this would go. I guess I would just probably stick with the Falcons because of the rookie quarterback for the Panthers. I would take the Falcons on that one with the points.
I would too. The home team slow spread on opening day. I would as well.
Yeah.
Next game I have is the Ravens and the Texans.
Ravens and the Texans. All right. What do you have for that with the point spread?
I got a big line. I got a 10-point line on my when I last checked.
Yeah, Ravens are favored by 10, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely could see them. Yeah, I mean the Texans are in trouble. They got another rookie quarterback there. I would stick with the Ravens on that one.
Yeah, home favorite like that. I would as well pick the Ravens in that game.
What do you have next on your list there?
The Bengals at the Browns. And I have on my line, I have the Bengals are 2.5 point favorites.
Now, Yeah, I guess the Browns. I don't know how bad the Browns are. I know the Bengals are good. They have a backup quarterback, I believe, starting right.
Yep.
I think Bubba's out for a little bit. That's a tough one too. I mean, you know, I guess the Bengals should still win by field goal or more, right?
You know what? I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say, the Browns home getting points at home on opening day. I'm going to stick with my what I was saying earlier. I'm going to go take the points with the Browns in that game.
All right, sounds good. What's next on your list?
The Jaguars 5-point favorites over the Colts. Colts are home.
Well, I'll tell you my opinion real quick. I think you got to take the Jaguars on there. If they can't beat up on the Colts, they're supposed to be going to the playoffs and they're supposed to be so much improved and everything. They should win by more than a touchdown.
I agree. I agree with that as well.
All right. So far, I'm surprised that we don't have too much conflict going on here. What's next on your list there?
I have the Vikings home favorites 6 points over the Bucks.
Yeah, that's what I got too. Yeah, the Vikings. I mean, I think they're all intact, right? I mean, they still got their quarterback, Cousins and everything. So you got, I think
Don't
Mayfield is
forget Justin
starting.
Jefferson as well, right? You got
Yeah, and you got Mayfield now going for the for the
and I think the Bucks just playing awful, so I think they're going to get killed. I think they're going to get run out of the stadium that game. So I would take the Vikings and drop the 6 points.
all right, that sounds good to me. What's next?
Saints 3-point favorite at home against the Titans.
All right, Saints Titans. Boy,
That's a tricky game.
I want to I want to go with the Titans on that one. I think they're just more established. Saints have a new quarterback and a new coach, right?
Yeah, I would agree. I would take the Titans with the points as well.
Yeah, that some of these I do put money on FanDuel sometimes, so only for the short ones the ones I think are short anyway. So all right, what's next?
The 49ers 2.5-point favorites over the Steelers, who are home.
49ers, Steelers, 2.5-point favors. What do you think about that? I mean,
I'm
I
taking Steelers in that game. You know why? I'm always going on the case that when it's a West Coast team coming to the East Coast playing out here, that it usually sometimes the time difference throws them off a little bit. Steelers are predicted through Sports Illustrated to be 10-7 this year, so they're a decent team. I would take the Steelers with 2.5 points at home against the West Coast team.
all right. I'm going to disagree with that. I think the 49ers are playoff, potential playoff bound.
Agreed.
And I think Pittsburgh is still, up and coming. And I think they should win by at least 3 or more, the 49ers. All right. What do we got?
The next game, Dave, is another game that America's been waiting for. The Commanders at home against the Cardinals.
Okay. I got the Commanders by 7 on here, right?
Yeah, I got a 7-point line in that as well.
Yeah, you got to give them that, right? I mean, the Cardinals are supposed to be the worst team in football, so
exactly.
Yeah, we'll take the Commanders. All right, we got a few
Agreed.
left.
Yep, Bears and Packers, old NFC North, old rivalry. Bears.
That's an interesting game. It's a small point spread, right? It's almost a pickup. What do you got? 1.5 point spread?
I got 1 point. I got the Bears favored by 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Oh boy, I'm gonna go with the Packers.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go with the Bears because I just think that without, you have a whole new era. You're playing a division rival, an old school division rival at home on opening day. I think that I would take the Bears and give the point.
Yeah, they're supposed to be much improved too, but we'll see. Okay, what do we got? A couple left.
Yeah, this is interesting. This is probably one of the game. The Eagles.
Yeah,
the Patriots 3.5.
Yeah.
I have 3.5-point favorites. What's interesting about this game is, how often have you seen a Bill Belichick team on opening day be a road underdog, be a home underdog?
Yeah. Well, I know that's because his defensive, his defensive skills, coaching skills there. But I believe the Eagles are a pretty good team. I mean,
Eagles
and the
are a very good team.
Technically, I think the Eagles should win by a lot over the Patriots. The Patriots should be almost the last place team in the AFC East, as far as I'm concerned. So
I would agree with you that too. It's just that it's hard going against.
It's just Belichick scares everybody. But I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm going to jump on the Eagles.
I'm going to being a New Jet area, Dave. I'm going to say I'm going with you too. I'm going to say the Eagles are going to win that game. They're going to cover.
Yeah. Okay.
Broncos and the Raiders. Denver's home in favor. I have them favored by 4.
Yeah, the Broncos are favored by 4. Yeah, that's oh boy, that's uh, I don't know. What do you think?
Broncos are they're not predicted to be a good team this year. Neither the Raiders. I mean, they're two
I
teams
know, I
bottom of
know.
the AFC West. Usually, my rule of thumb is always when there's two bad teams, you pick the home team, right? And
Yeah,
if it's reasonable, so I'm going to say, um, once again, this is a game that no one is going to be caring about, except for people in Denver, probably in Vegas, and whoever's betting it. But I'd go with the Broncos and give the 4 points. I mean, I think they're
yeah.
two bad teams, and you have to go with the home team. Is always
I'll
home favorite.
I'll agree with that. I think we have one more, no?
I have. When we talked about the Jets, I have 2 more on the board here. I
Oh yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
Chargers
Yeah,
and
yeah, I forgot.
Dolphins.
Yeah, 2 more. 2 more. Dolphins and the Chargers you want to do?
Yeah, Chargers. I
Uh
have 3-point favorites at home. I'm gonna go with the Chargers because, as we just said, we don't both of us aren't sold on Miami. Chargers
it's
are home, the home team 3 point. I would pick the Chargers in that game. I take the
yeah,
Chargers and give it a 3.
I'll take the Chargers too. That's gonna be an interesting game. The fun. It's always fun watching the Chargers with Justin Herbert. I love that
It
guy.
is.
He's a great quarterback. And then we finally have the Bills and the Jets. The Bills are, I believe, in my list here, they're 2.5 point favorite over the Jets. The
Yes,
Jets are home. Uh,
I think we
I,
missed
I'm.
one game. We did miss again. It's the Seahawks and the
Oh
Rams.
yes, we did. We did. Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's do that one first. Seahawks. I got 5.5 point favorites over the Rams.
Yep.
Uh, I'm gonna take the Rams.
We split again. I'm taking the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are much better. I think they're going to be really
Yeah.
good this year, and I think they're a much better team than the Rams. And I would lay the 5.5 points.
Okay, and then we finally have our Jets, and we have 2.5 point favorite are the Bills over the Jets, and I just see the Jets. I want to say they better win, but they should win outright. Worst comes to worst, lose by a point, but I think they should win that game outright. And you feel
I have the winning outright that game too. I think, as we said earlier, I think that the crowd, the new era, Aaron Rodgers wants to show America that he still got it,
all right? Sounds
and I think
good.
he will.
I agree. All right, Ed. So with that being said, this is our first video podcast. We're gonna hopefully people will comment on it, and I'm gonna try to do this weekly for the rest of the season.
Dave, thanks for having me. Hopefully it's a happy Monday, Monday night. And we're expecting both big things from this team, and hopefully this team delivers for us and his fans that have been waiting so long for something like this to happen.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and let's get it going. So, all right, Ed. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave. Once again, thanks for having me, Dave.
All right, you got it.